In this video, I'm going to go over how to use green screen to create a silhouette and then use that as a mask. And so what we're going to be making here is this example of this character dancing and filled with a reptile pattern. And so what I've done here is I've grabbed a video of green screen from the internet, and it is Peter Parker doing the emo dance back and forth. And so you can go to the internet, you could grab whatever video you'd like, or if you put up a solid color background in your room or whatever space you're in, you can film yourself in front of it. The key thing is just to have it be as evenly lighted and as flat as possible, so try and minimize wrinkles. So I'm going to do this again from scratch, so I'm going to delete out everything that's in here. And the first step that you do is you take your video, and if you don't want to use the whole thing, double click on it and you'll be able to minimize where it starts and stops by using the in point and the out point. But since that doesn't matter for too much for right now, I'm just gonna set mine all the way back to the beginning and the end. So we come back and just make sure I'm set on the out point here. Drag and drop it onto your timeline. And then I'm going to go to effects and presets and choose key light. And key light means it's choosing the dominant color, the key color out of your scene. And when you apply it to your video, you'll see this option bar come up on the side. And if you've lit it well, or if you're using an example of a video online that has a solid green color in the background, all you have to do is choose this screen color picker and select the color in the background, and it will by default get rid of it, turn it transparent. Right now you'll notice that we're looking at the view of the final result. If you choose another one of these, so this will choose source and we see our original, and if you choose screen matte, it'll show you the silhouetted version. And this is basically the same thing as a mask, and this is really great for being able to get that specific silhouette here. And let's turn off the music for this piece. All right, cool, and that's exactly what we want. And you'll notice in here, there is a little bit of some gray happening. And let's turn this up to full resolution. So if you want to get rid of all of that and make it go completely white, what you can do is you can drop down screen matte and roll down the white a little bit, and that'll make it a little bit sharper. And you can really play around with these, especially if you do have outside lights or wrinkles in the background, the clip black and clip white. But that looks pretty good. So what I then can do is I'm going to turn this into a composition by right-clicking, pre-compose, and it's going to put all of these attributes inside the composition, and it's just going to make it a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to say green screen material. And now I just need to make a separate item. So for example, I'm just going to go to my new composition, make a small 200 by 200 composition. Let's just make this, we'll say this is 10 seconds. And inside here, I'm just going to do one simple shape repeating over and over again. So I'm going to come to my circle, double click to get it go inside here. Let's shrink it down. And what I'm going to do is just animate a simple scale. Come back down like that, and then it's going to come back up. So it's going to scale down and come back up. And let's turn on the loop out by holding down Alt or Option and clicking on the stopwatch. Loop out, and we're going to ping pong. So that way it just bounces back and forth. And let's speed that up. We'll go to half a second. So I've just got a simple sort of animation happening here. And we could easy ease this by pressing F9. There we go. So now it's got a much more sort of pulsing kind of feel. I'm going to come back to my original composition. And inside here, let's bring in our new one. I'm going to put it below. And if I hide this top one, we'll see this here. And what I can do is let's use Reptile to repeat this all over the place. Drag and drop it to our item here, and we're going to expand it out. So it goes all the way out. Let's expand it out. And we can come back and shrink down our whole image. Let's get it to be something like that. And when we're looking at this, we'll see the scale up and down. So we've created a gridded pattern. And now let's use the track matte. So we're going to go to toggle switches and modes, and we're going to use this top layer that we've created as a matte for our repeating shapes underneath. And what this does is it does the same thing as Photoshop, where it's using the track from above, or the track next to it in Photoshop, as the silhouetted mask. And you kind of have to sometimes search through and make sure you're finding the right one, but let's go with Alpha Matte. And that one wasn't the right one, so let's try Alpha Inverted Matte. That's not the right one. Let's use Luma Matte. There we go. So Luma Matte is the one that we want to use. And now, because of the speed, we're not seeing that fully, but we are seeing it embedded into the character that we've created. So let's do one more thing. Let's add in another one of our loops here. And I'm going to turn off the Luma Matte for a second. So we see both of these, and let's rotate this one just so we're getting a little bit more. And let's duplicate it again, rotate, come back a little bit this way. So now we're getting a full sort of circle, and let's offset these a little bit so they're not all going at the same time. There we go. Now we've got much more sort of a bubble kind of feel. We'll take all of these, combine them together in a group. So grouped loop, groove loop, and now Luma Matte. And now we've got this full character filled with all of these movements, and you just get a little bit more sort of emphasis. You got something a lot more fun. You could then apply a fill using fill effects, or you could have this move across the screen. There's a lot of different options that you could do, but this is the main way to use a green screen as a silhouette rather than just using it as a isolated item.